KUAM News, brought to you by GTA. We start with you, Subway and Chili's Grill and Bar.
I don't think it's an emergency. I don't see how it's an emergency without seeing the justification for golf carts. You know, seriously, do we need golf carts at this point? I don't see that it's an emergency, or I don't have the evidence to know that it's an emergency without the justification. And mind you, that we did pass emergency procurement reform into law requiring this justification.
Strong words from Legislative Procurement Oversight Chair Senator Sabina Perez. She's talking about an emergency procurement of golf carts for the governor's office conducted by the General Services Agency in June. The procurement protested now by losing offerer Guahan Turf Co. The procurement record showing GSA changed procurement specs after working hours the day before submissions were due. GSA changing specs to require immediate delivery of golf carts, even though the original specs said carts could be delivered in 30 days.
The way it was changed last minute, the rules and regulations require that any amendments, that all bidders be given reasonable time to adjust to their bids. So really the proper way to have done this is to withdraw. If they had to make this last minute change, they should have withdrawn the bid, the solicitation, and resubmit it to allow for all bidders to have equal and fair competition.
Well, that's not what happened, though. Instead, the specs were changed to mirror AutoSpot's submitted quote, which said carts could be delivered immediately. According to GSA docs and invoices sent to the governor's office, 6 golf carts were purchased from AutoSpot for $80,000. Meanwhile, Adelup Chief of Staff John Jr. Calvo says even if the governor's office was written on invoices, the procurement was handled exclusively by GSA and Civil Defense.
Part of this is, again, under procurement protest, and so I'm not going to be able to comment on all the details. I leave that to the General Services Agency and, of course, the agency that procured it. But I do know that at the beginning and even in the middle of both the testing and the vaccination, there was a need for those resources.
Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio is a former vice president of AutoSpot. And AutoSpot president Derek Kanata is the son of airport manager John Kanata. Meanwhile, GSA docs show the agency purchased some $330,000 in ATVs and SUVs in June and August of 2020 using emergency procurement and sole source purchasing. The next hearing for the golf cart protest with the public auditor is set for September 16th. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.